So this is going to be the background for this video because it's really gonna get messy in this process. So I'm just laying this for the background, and here are some pictures of what we are going to create today. And these are not Pinterest images, these are created by me only, and the name of this DIY is vase wall decor. Yes, because I didn't get any other name. So let's begin. So the first thing you're gonna need is a steel bowl. It can be any other bowl like glass bowl or whatever. I'm just using this steel because this is my new bowl for DIYs. So the first thing we have to do for making this DIY is make a dough. So this dough is going to be made with plaster of Paris, and I'm using approximately half a cup of plaster of Paris. You can even use any other clay instead of these, but please don't use that air dry clay and all, that super clay and all. Air dry clay is okay, by the way. Now you can the amount of your choice. It completely depends upon you how much you want to make. Now we will be needing this by adding a little bit of water. We don't need to add anything else, and you need to wear gloves while kneading this because I said you it's really gonna get messy. And the reason why I'm not adding many components because I just don't want to make it really complicated. I just want to keep it as simple as it can be. Now let me break the crumbs, then I will be kneading it. So by crushing the paper and folding it, I created 3 structures like this. Now let's wet it and crush it even more,
so that it will stay in its place and it won't change the shape after we put the dough on it.
We have to wet it and we have to squeeze all of the excess water like I'm doing here. In this way we have to do all of the structures. Now on a cardstock paper we will arrange them as we want. So I want a heart shaped with a opening on the top of it, so I'm arranging it in this way. Now let it set aside. Now we will be taking some of our dough and we will be stretching it out.
So here is how I covered the whole structure using that clay. After covering it, I merged the dough with water and I polished it using my finger with water. Now you can see it's not that perfect, so we need to wait for it to dry half. So when it is half dried, we will be sculpting it out. Then we will be doing the rest of the process. So let it dry.
After it dried, I separated it from the base, and it is what it looks like from the back. And after it was half dried, I also carved the edges. I also carved the edges on the inside, and it is still not completely dried, so let it dry. Until then, let's make the base for the DIY. To make the base, we are going to use this kind of cardboard sheets, and make sure that your cardboard is thick. The thicker you get the cardboard, the stronger your DIY will be. And here is how thick cardboard I am using. I have cut the cardboard into 2 different shapes, and you can also cut it in your desired. Here I have taken 4 spoons of POP to cover these 2 cardboards. Now we will be adding approximately half a spoon of water glue. Add water and mix it until it forms a thick paste. The consistency of paste should be like this. Now the next step is spreading this paste on the cardboard. You have to spread this paste evenly, and if you have a palette knife you can use it. If you don't have, then you can create one like me that I've created. I have melted and bended the cake cutting knife and I've created a palette knife like this. Using a palette knife helps you to spread this evenly all over the surface. As you can see, it's so flat and so evenly spreading. Not only you have to spread the paste on the surface, but also you have to spread it on the side. After this getting dried, I also rubbed it with this sandpaper to make it even more smoother, and now it looks something like this. And after our sculpture is completely dried, I also rubbed it with sandpaper to make it even more smoother like this. And then now let me teach you how to remove the paper without breaking the structure. After the sculpture has dried, the paper inside is also dried, so we have to make it wet to take it out without breaking the sculpture. Using a brush, wet the paper with water and make sure to completely make it wet. Now you can slowly pull the paper with your hand, and also you can use tweezers to do so. First of all, you have to detach the paper from the surface and do it really carefully. If the paper is not wet from inside, then add some water to make it wet. When the paper is wet, it starts leaving the surface of the structure like this. And you can see I have completely taken out the paper of this part without causing any damage to the structure. Now let's remove this. I promise you would not feel bored while taking this out, because this process is so satisfying to do. Now if your paper is stuck inside like this, then what you can do is you can rub it with a hard bristled brush. You can even use toothbrush for doing that. And if you don't want to use brush, then you can patiently do like I'm doing. This will not take much time. It will only take a little bit of patience, and if you don't want to take that out, and if you don't want to do much hard work, and if you don't have any patience, then you can just leave it like that, because nobody is gonna see the inside of the structure. And if you will remove this, then it will be better for you, because whenever there will be some moisture, then the paper will not get moist and your structure will not get damaged. So it's for you better if you want to take it out or not. Next step is to color. So first we will be coloring this base, and then after that we will be coloring this sculpture. You can color the base with watercolor and soft pastels. If you want to color it with acrylic colors, then you can also use that. If you want to color it with spray paint, then you can also use that. So today I will be painting or coloring it with soft pastels because this gives a different kind of texture. So let me show you what kind of texture it gives. So the colors that I'm going to use is red and pink. I have thought to give it a gradient of these colors. So let's get started. I have scraped some color with a paper cutter, and then we are going to smudge it with our finger. You have to smudge it in the direction of your texture that you have created on your base. If you haven't created any texture on your base, then you can go with the round and round motion smudging technique. And here is how I have smudged my pink color. Now let's do the same with red color to fill the leftover gap. With red, I have also carved some yellow ochre color and white color to give it a peach color. If you have accidentally mixed too much yellow or too much red, then it will not give out the perfect peachy shade. So in case it happens with you, then you can adjust by adding more colors. And it also happened with me, so I'm gonna adjust it afterwards. In camera, the colors are not properly visible, so you will not be able to see the original color, but afterwards I will be trying to adjust the camera and show you the original color. This is what it kind of looks like in real, and so it's now painted completely. So now I have painted the sides also, and I have also added some shimmer on the surface, and I have also painted the structure using watercolors, and I mixed a little bit of blue in the watercolors, and I also added shimmer on this structure. Now let's stick this both. So I sticked it using normal glue, and now it's time to varnish it. So I'm gonna use a spray varnish. You can even use that liquid varnish. So using varnish will secure your shimmer. Now let's varnish it. So after varnishing, I added the flower which I made by myself using paper, and also a leaf, and I also varnished the flower and leaf as well. And let's take a cinematic view of all.